welcome to Wicso. Last episode, things happened. Wow! In this episode, we're going to see a lot of things. That, of course, includes expansion, mainly from the Khmer, mainly from the Khmer colonial. I wouldn't call this a colonial, they just have outposts. For the spice trade, which they will expand those outposts for the spice trade. In Malaysia, all of these different the Sumatra. So the Sumatra area. So as you can see, the Sumatra area is the Malaysia conquers all of Sumatra and moves into Java. The reason that they are doing this is to have a complete monopoly of spice moving from here to there. That before some enters for months, and also a population boom happens due to how rich they are. Plus, the fertility of these regions is absolutely massive. I'm sorry, but Indonesia and those areas are very fertile. For all I know, the reason I think them is just how much rice they have. But isn't rice mass producible, by the way? And let's move to China. I decided to put this down in a bunch of cities because that's how China is. China is a bunch of cities, bunch of random cities. They have the highest city density and have a massive population growth. And that's why they're going to enter their golden age. The first Chinese, maybe not the first, that might be. Probably China. This is a few. China could enter the new golden age in the future, but currently it is in its golden age. This is, by the way, somewhere around the classical period, but things are slowly and slowly decaying as the classical period enters its golden age kind of period. I mean, most countries are experiencing a large level of prosperity, happiness, everything is awesome over here. So, the classical period lasted for about 7 episodes. The Bronze Age and the Copper Age respectively lasted for about 12 to 15 episodes. The Iron Age lasted for like 3 episodes, and the Classical Age will soon end. I mean, the Bronze Age will be the longest episode, okay? Okay, let's continue. Well, firstly, exploration. And exploration rivalries. The Baltic Empire or the Baltic Confederation has come into contact and rivalry with the Germanics. So the Latin Empire invades Germany mainly for the Hispania region, but also for dominance over trade, basically. As a large chunk of Baltic trade is dependent on Germany, mainly naval. So the Baltics invaded and easily captured Scania. But so while the Germans do accept their capture of the Scania, whatever it's called, they decide to do what Germans act in real life do: invade Poland and territory. I mean, Poland doesn't exist yet. It's divided between the Baltic Empire, Ukraine, and back and But Germany conquers all of these areas, allowing for a large sphere of influence in the eastern parts of Europe. So the German Confederation still is the German Confederation, as both sides, mainly the Baltic Empire, loses. And Norway becomes very important for trade with the English people, because England has tin, and tin can be used to make bronze, and bronze is pretty, at least according to the ancient Greeks, and it can also be used in iron. Also, I forgot about the Russian migrant state, which formed after the nomadic empire split into multiple southern khanates. Over time, these khanates, especially in Central Asia, due to the Fergana Valley, grow. The Silk Road also empowers them to grow further, and India also has a population boom. This period is a period of massive population booms due to India becoming a center of trade, learnings, very scientifically advanced, very fertile. I mean, so India and China are rivaling in population. The population here is somewhere around 50 million, I think. For, for now, there's 50 million. But we also have this being. But both there would be this period would be relatively calm, with trade routes established in the West. The world is slowly but surely globalizing. I mean, almost all, and by almost I mean all trade routes are connected. There are no zero disconnected trade routes. Along with that, I want to add the West East African trade route, which would be enough, which would lead to the Kenyan capital, and that leads to Ugandan capital. Oh, there are three trade routes leading to the Ugandan capital. Uganda is very rich. So let's move to Britain. In fact, I mean, the French can't administrate Britain as it's overextended. Okay, it's overextended. They're overextended. Mainly the highlands, due to its culture developed differently, they revolt. The few remaining German settlers form into their own kingdom, this being the Kingdom of England, form into their own monarchy, the London monarchy. They also control this area, since this area is very disconnected and very unruly. Like, this major city still stays as a part of the French Empire, but let it be known the French are failing Britain. The French have changed Britain culture a lot. I mean, there was some British settlementation, but being Britain, and by Britain I mean this everything. This area is a mix of cultures. Same with this area, they have pretty similar cultures, but this area is empathetic to the French. Then this area is more pro-German. And all along with that, multiple new states start forming in Britain, mainly based off small cultural spheres, and this would cause the first idea of feudalism to be born in England. Before that, feudalism wasn't all that common. I mean, even for the Bronze Age and the later ages, empires were centralized, but with the collapse of Britain, but the fall of Britain would cause the first idea of something called feudalism to pop up. Even in the areas that stayed, feudalism would become a big thing. So, we are already in the late classical age. But we're gonna move east. Japan isn't really that settled as Japan doesn't have really that much of resources. But eventually it gets colonized, mainly due to how much money Korea has. Mainly from a single trade route, but that single trade route is a trade route with China, of all things. The Chinese. So the population booms, a lot of people decide to move here. But they don't colonize this peninsula due to one tribe here being mainly being former bandits who kidnapped a bunch of wives, and they turn into a city-state of Tokyo. They are pretty populous actually, as many criminals from the new lands would move here, so they would become a city-state. While in the north, a new civilization pops up, this being the Hokkaido country. Hokkaido Ainu. Yeah, the Ainu who lived in Hokkaido and those areas. And if you don't know what the Ainu people are, that's basically the Ainu are just kind of native-ish Japanese people. I mean, like by native, I mean the same level of native as the as the I get as the Georgians are to the Caucasus Mountains and other Caucasian groups, not counting the Ossetians, as they are basically Scythians. Yes, Scythians. But these civilizations would stop Korean expansion into Japan. So Korea has to settle down, with many Korean people finally settling down into Japan, forming their own lives and things. This central country, which is actually descent from Koreans moving here to dominate the Silk Road. Okay, that's kind of funny. But in this last few episodes, videos, the Great the Malaysian massive amounts of Greek troops move into Malaysia, defeat the Malaysian Council Republic, Kingdom, and the treaty would end up in Malaysia becoming a part of Greece. Malaysia is defeated and is now part of Greece. With that, let's end the video. Goodbye. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.